Well, from fossils buried in Montana's Badlands to labs in Cincinnati, scientists are piecing together past extinction events like the end of the dinosaurs to understand the climate challenges of the future.
Oh, I kind of love that. CBS LA climatologist Marina Jurica takes us into her field research.
Montana might seem far from California, but the clues buried here could help us better understand why California's ecosystems are under stress. To understand prolonged droughts and intensified wildfires, we must head to the Badlands to learn about the Earth's climate millions of years ago.
Here in the Bighorn Basin behind me is an ancient rock layer that captures the asteroid impact 66 million years ago that ended the era of the dinosaurs. This fossil and sediment record can tell us exactly what happened during this time on Earth.
If the planet gets 4 or 5 or 6 degrees warmer, then what happens afterward? And anytime you take a system, in this case the Earth system, and you throw rapid changes at it, it's not a good end.
We are witnessing a sudden pattern shift, a climate whiplash that shows growing instability as the planet warms.
We can look at the record and we can see how it's changed through Earth's history. Within the past couple hundred years, especially after the Industrial Revolution, that rate of change is exponential compared to what it was.
By and large, we know that either directly or indirectly, we are responsible for a lot of the change that's going on right now.
Let's go back in time 145 million years ago when there were massive eruptions due to the breaking up of the supercontinent Pangaea, creating huge amounts of release of carbon dioxide. Amid these ancient rocks, you can almost feel the planet heating up, warming the oceans, and creating dead zones where life struggled to survive.
So if we can look at how the past operated, see what animals were successful, see what animals stood the test of time, see what animals went extinct, we can get a better understanding of how current ecosystems, current organisms might handle a changing climate.
We've got a big crack here and then one back here.
We've left the dig site and are now here in the lab. And we are prepping and cleaning these fossils so that they can tell us their story. It is really important to get under that rock layer to see that fine detail, which can show us growth rings as well as chemical fingerprints.
I think it's really important for us to study fossils, how their lives were impacted by climate, and that can tell us about how our lives might be impacted.
Field and lab work together paint a picture of adaptation, how ecosystems respond to rapid change, and what species survive or vanish.
The more that we educate ourselves, do our own research, form our own ways of thinking as a society, the more that you're going to be involved in your own future.
We lose more nature every single day. We lose species, we lose open spaces like this. I don't want my kids growing up in a world where there are no polar bears or there's no more ice at the North Pole. They're going to grow up in a world that is fundamentally less rich than the one I grew up in.
Adaptability is the key to survival. And exactly how we use that largely depends on our decisions that we make every day.
The fossil record isn't just history, it's a guide. Earth has seen sudden climate swings before, but the pace today is unprecedented and the lessons are urgent. In Montana, Marina Jurica, CBS LA.
I would like to thank Elevation Science for being my partner for the last 2 summers. Without their dedication to science and most importantly, science education, our future generations would not understand the critical situation that we are in and what each and every person can do as a citizen scientist.
I mean,
it's fascinating.
It's fascinating. There's so many layers here. You and I were just speaking. The planet is warming at a rate that we have not seen and ever. And so we have to go back to the past to be able to learn and do things differently in the future.
Correct. So that's why we study events like the mass extinction line, which is the KPG line, which I'll show you here in just a few minutes, but also the breakup of Pangaea. These were all events that created drastic climate shifts. And so by studying this, we're not only able to see what animals or ecosystems or what parts of the Earth system survived, we are able to see how we need to adapt then and how we need to move forward. forward.
What can individual people do? What can we do?
Well, basically, it's little things. You know, we can compost, we can build a garden, we can do little things like that. And I think that's what's hard for people to understand is they feel so overwhelmed with climate change.
That you almost freeze and do nothing.
Exactly. But if we all do just even little steps that don't break our budget, because I know that's a huge critical thing too. Not everyone can afford an EV vehicle, so I get that. But these little steps can move us forward into the right adaptability structure that we need for the Earth.
Well, I was just listening to a podcast where a lot of young people are getting disenfranchised about it, saying, well, it's already warming. But if we can cap it, I mean, you got to cap it. Okay,
you brought us a souvenir.
What's happening
here?
What do we have?
So these are great. These are actual pieces of the KPG line, which is the extinction line from the dinosaurs.
I feel like I need to be careful with this.
I will give those to you. So
look how beautiful.
So a lot of people ask us how we know this is a part of an asteroid. It has extreme high contents of iridium inside. So iridium is very rare inside the Earth's crust, and it's much more common in asteroids. So in this thin clay layer, we have found that unusually high concentration of iridium, which is not natural for Earth's levels. So inside also, we have microtectites as well as shocked quartz. And if you can see, there's a shiny layer. If you put it up towards the light, you can see that shiny shocked quartz. Yes.
Look at us being little science students.
I know. I love this.
So that's formed by the high energy impacts.
Okay.
And so then the soot and charcoal, which if you break
apart, because
exactly, that's fine. It's okay. But that also,
I was trying to hide it.
No, that's okay. That's okay. No.
But it's very brittle.
It is. So that's the soot and the charcoal, and that's consistent with global firestorms.
Okay.
So this tells us exactly what happened during that time period, what creatures survived. Obviously, the dinosaurs didn't, but some creatures did survive.
I know.
And we have to show what those adaptability factors were when it comes to that. And research, right? Research is so critical right now. You know, both in science and in medical research, we are losing a lot of our funding. I lost a lot of my funding, and so moving forward, we really need to get that research back because that's the only way the Earth can move forward.
Your work is so fascinating.